I want to welcome you to the Ask Jeff YouTube channel. Here's today's question. Is Melchizedek man or God? Mentioned in Hebrews chapter 7 verse 3 that he is made like unto the Son of God and he abides a priest continually. Then it mentions Jesus in Hebrews 7:22 and 24 saying, but this man, because he continueth ever, hath an unchangeable priesthood. Well, good old Melchizedek, or as I like to refer to him as Uncle Mel. He shows up for the very first time in Genesis chapter 14, and as mentioned in the question, he arrives again in the book of Hebrews, not only chapter 7, but also chapter 3 as well. Now, here's what's interesting about Melchizedek. In the Old Testament, you have three offices. You have a prophet, you have a priest, and you have a king. Nobody had all three offices. That was reserved for Jesus Christ alone. However, a variety of people held two offices. For example, David was a king, but he was also a prophet. You had Samuel, who was a priest and was a prophet. You never have anybody who is a priest and a king at the same time. Remember, that's what got Saul in trouble and vacated the kingship from him and passed it on to David. You say, why is this important? In Genesis 14, guess what? Melchizedek is called the king and the priest of Salem. He is allowed an office that nobody else is allowed. Secondly, when Abram gives him a tenth and worships him, Melchizedek receives the worship. Very different than the book of Revelation when an angelic being says, don't worship me, I'm just a man. Thirdly, in the book of Hebrews, it says that Jesus was after the order of Melchizedek, not after the order of Aaron as a priest. And last but not least, we have evidence for what oftentimes we would refer to as a Christophany. A Christophany is an appearance to the creative or to the human eye of Jesus prior to his incarnation. Now, before you panic, Jesus Christ has always been. There's never been a time, there's never been a moment he has not existed. There were 33 and a half years, though, where he dwelt in the flesh on the earth. And a Christophany would be his being visible prior to his incarnation. You go back to Zechariah chapter 3 and Joshua and the high priest. You go to the book of Daniel and the fourth in the fire. You go to Joshua and the captain of the Lord of hosts. There's ample evidence in the Old Testament of individuals like Melchizedek who show up that seem to be more God than man, and the Bible doesn't dispute how humanity addresses and or at times worships them. That being said, I think there's biblical evidence that Melchizedek was more than just a man. In fact, he may have been a Christophany. Great question. If you have one, send to askjeff.net. Maybe your question will be tomorrow's. Thanks for being a part of today's daily question. Now, we answer a question each and every day. Please feel free to submit a new question at askjeff.net. We may not have gotten to yours today, but we eventually will. Continue to be a part of this. Subscribe so you don't miss out on a question every day.